Greetings, everyone. It is Linda Talaferro, and it is Being Brown at Work Live. I am, excited isn't really not quite the word. I'm excited. I'm beyond excited because this topic, and most importantly, going into this season of Being Brown at Work, is going to be unlike any other season. If you have been hanging with me, I so greatly appreciate you. And I tell you, you don't even know what's about to happen. I think you are going to be beyond fulfilled, motivated, amped up, charged up, and most importantly, you're going to have clarity. If you haven't had it, you're going to have it. If you hang with me on this season of Being Brown at Work Live, and we're going to kick it off with this first episode where I'm going to be talking about the future of work in the workplace for Black and Brown women. I've done some research and it's really timely because Lean In, if you guys don't know the Lean In organization, research it because their 2025 Women in Workplace report just came out. Couldn't be so more on time for what I want to talk about tonight. And I'm going to use statistics in that report to open this episode of Being Brown at Work Live. In the Lean In Org 2025 Women in the Workplace report, they share that 1 in 3 Black women worry that their race will hold them back. 1 in 3, their race. And I'm just going to be frank. It would have to be race because statistics tell us that Black and Brown women are the highest at their highest percentage of educated women. We tend to be the ones that have the next level degrees, not just bachelor. We have the masters, we have the PhDs, the doctors in front of our names, the letters after our names. The highest percentage of women, the highest percentage male, female, any other ethnicity, it's Black women, highly educated. So when I saw that, it hurt my heart that it was 1 in 3, and that it was race. But I have to tell you, I'm not surprised that it was race. 8 in 10 Black women in leadership are burned out, frequently burned out at a very high level. 8 out of 10. And here's why. Their research found that because we are under the most scrutiny, we have the most demeaning comments that we have to deal with on a regular basis, and we have the highest pressure to perform, having to prove our value over and over and over and over again. Of course, we're the only usually in the room. And then we have very few, if any, sponsors. Now, you notice I said sponsors, I didn't say mentors. I doubt that we have as many of those, but mentors has a different definition, right? I mean, you can have a host of mentors, tons of them. Sponsors is what's transformative. Sponsors is what makes it different because those are the people that have the key to the door with the opportunity, the door with the next level potential experience, the door that gets you into the rooms that you don't get invited to. Now, I have to say, personally, I've been blessed. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't been because I had a sponsor, was the reason why I got my MBA at University of Michigan Ross School of Business. And I had somebody sponsor, somebody that said my name when I wasn't in the room because she saw value in me. She knew me, she saw value in me and knew what value I brought. And she's the reason why I have a board seat. But those are, look, a few 8 out of 10 don't have that experience. Don't have that experience. Now, am I oblivious or shielded from the scrutiny, the demeaning comments, the pressure to perform? Absolutely not. Given what I look like my entire career, it's been the case. So I'm definitely one of those 8 there. The sponsorship makes a difference. The next thing they found in their research, 54% of the companies, I said 54% of the companies say that women's career advancement is a high priority for them. Just 54%. That's not a high percentage. Let's be real. And that's women in general. Now, I'm sure you're not going to be surprised that it's less for women of color. Now, they have a women of color category, right? And they just put it everybody together, black, brown, yellow, 46%. So almost a double digit difference lower that they believe for women of color it has a high priority, only 46%. And I would venture to guess if we really drill down into those numbers and we talk specifically about black and brown people, it'd be less than that. Less than that percentage of companies where they find women's career advancement a high priority. And one of the other statistics that I found unbelievably interesting, 21% of the companies, 21%. Now, the fact that it's even there for me is alarming, that it's double digits and it's in the 20s. 21% of the companies are giving little to no priority to advancing women. How come it's not 2%, 3%, 1%, 0%? Okay, but okay, I'll be real, pragmatic. Okay, it can't be zero, but 21%? 21% of companies are given little to no priority to advancing women. 2025 Women in the Workplace Report. Highly recommend, go out, read it. I follow Lean In Oregon IG. There's been some interviews, some conversations they have had, the CEO and others have had. I mean, what I've always loved about this organization is that it's real. They're not sugarcoating the data that they found. They're not going out and trying to scope and form the narrative. They're telling it exactly like it is. And at the same time, they're being actively engaged and try to move the needle in a different direction. They had gained a lot of ground prior to 2024, 2025. I think all of us know that. And I know they're fighting to try to regain the ground that we had lost and even go further. But I had to share these statistics to let you know that this is a thing. And I know if you look like me, you're like not surprised because you're probably living it like I live it every day in my 40-some year career. So you're probably not surprised, but I have to tell you, in some of these numbers, it took me a little bit over the edge because it's really gone in the other direction. And for Black and brown women, okay, let's be real. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like this is new because the field has always been uneven. Yes, it has always been uneven. The rules have always been different. Clearly, we know that. We know that. Because when we couldn't find out what the rules were, we figured out how to try to find and try to work around them. Rules have always been different. The pathway has never been straight. It's never been straight for us. I mean, usually careers aren't straight anyway. And then for Black and brown women, it's just more exceptionally so crooked. Exceptionally so. And the real game in the workplace, we know. I mean, you've heard that old adage that, things are talked about on the golf course. I can tell you, I've been on golf courses. I'm not a golfer. I love scrambles, because I can putt pretty good. And I can tell you, yes, some things are talked about in those certain circles. Some things are talked about in different circles if you happen to be fortunate enough to even experience them once or twice. So yes, the real game was always hidden. Always hidden. But now, based on that 2025 report, and now going into 2026, the difficulty, the scrutiny, the unevenness, the difference, everything that's hidden has now leveled up. is taking yet another major shift in a direction that will, of course, not favor us. So it's at a whole nother different level, which requires a different approach. Everything I just shared with you, all the data that the Lean In organization found in their report, and then those areas I talked about, the field, the rules, the pathway, the game, all of that that is shifted requires a different approach. Some completely different, some approaches are completely different, and then some have a twist to them. So as I step through here, how I believe managing and handling, this future in the workplace for Black and Brown women, how I believe it's ways that you can manage it and do it successfully. I'm going to step through 5 of them, 5 major ones that I believe are imperative for you. If you are a Black and Brown woman, or you happen to be a for real ally, and you know some Black and Brown women that you want to help, these 5 are extremely critical, in my opinion. First of all, be fully aware of your environment. You've heard me use this phrase, call a thing a thing. I mean, at times, some of us can try to create these panaceas, or say, oh, maybe it's really not this, or oh, maybe I saw that differently, or I'm being sensitive, or what. No, call a thing a thing. Be fully aware of what's happening around you. Don't pretend like it's not happening. Other people's discomfort is not yours to fix. It's not. So when you see a thing and you've got to call a thing and you've got to address it, bring it forward. You know how to articulate clearly the thoughts. You can do this with data, facts, examples. And frankly, their discomfort is not yours to fix, but you need to be fully aware that that discomfort exists and why it exists. And you do not pretend that it doesn't. It's real. And the more awareness you have about your surroundings, the better off you will be in the long term. And then number 2, speaking of awareness, self-awareness is key. Self-awareness is everything. High self-confidence is foundational to everything that I'm about to share with you. Going past number 2 here. High self-confidence is foundational. You've got to look in the mirror and know your value, love yourself, be fully aware of yourself and all the stuff you bring. I mean, because we do bring things with us, but understand what that is. I mean, that's high emotional intelligence. I know a lot of you that's been following me and you've heard me say that in the past. You're like, okay, I've heard that before, but I'm telling you, it's no joke. When you are self-aware and you have high EQ, high emotional intelligence, it will carry you. It's foundational to you being able to successfully do anything else that I'm about to share with you. So do the work necessary to become completely self-aware of who you are, why you react to certain things in meetings, your aura, what I call your unique persona, your brand, your no nonsense. I have lines that my brand, I've got certain lines. I will end meetings depending on how people act, language that they bring in that's unnecessary, because we can communicate and we can have, what I call, very energetic, even combative. We can agree to disagree, but it doesn't have to be disrespectful. Doesn't have to be disrespectful as part of my brand. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. And there's other things that I know about myself that I love exactly about me, because it makes me uniquely me. And I know the value I bring. So self-awareness, Do that work. It's necessary foundational work. Next one, number 3, establish community. Look, you guys have heard me say it over and over and over again, and I'm not going to stop saying it, okay? Because no man is an island. And although I gave you statistics above, I'm telling you, although I gave you those statistics above, you can create community. You can. Now you got to be strategic about it when you're establishing your community, but you can do it. You just got to be intentional. You got to do number 1, know the environment. You got to be self-aware. Number 2, and then you go out and strategically create your your community. I have various names for mine. I've got various names for. I have an accountability partner. At every opportunity, every role I've had, every company I've worked at, I have sought out and established a person, one that I have built a sense of community with, a sense of trust, that I can have an honest conversation with, accountability partner, and we bounce things back and forth off each other. We may not always be in the same space all the time, but we're aware of things enough for him to say to me or her to say to me, hey, this is what happened to me. What do you think? And I can do back and forth. And haven't heard, will not hear it again. When we get off of Teams, or we get off of Zoom, or we get off of whatever we're on, or we walk out of the conference room, or I walk out of his or her office, or he or she walks out of mine, that's it. That's the end of it. Stays between. Invaluable. Can't tell you how valuable it is. Community is everything, but you got to strategically build yours. Strategically build yours. Number 4, be intentional about controlling the narrative about you. Because I'm telling you that if you're not, they will create your story. They will define who you are. They will define what you represent. They will define what you can do, what you can't do, what your expertise is, what your if you leave it up to those around you and that environment that I recommended that you establish and understand at the beginning, they will create it. And then you got to deal with the consequences of what everybody else believes about you. But if you control the narrative, meaning when you know that something about you is being said, or you being held accountable for things that don't belong to you, call it out. Shift the narrative, rewrite it, correct it. You have to walk in your excellence. You own your career. You're the one truly walking the excellence. No one else defines that for you. Don't allow them to do that. Do not allow other people to control your narrative. Be focused and intentional about establishing it and then controlling it. And then last but not least, and this is for real. I don't, I don't know how I'm trying to think of the words of how I can put emphasis on this. I know for me, I've had to live it over the years, right? I really I've had to live not being conscious of this and not working towards this. And it has been detrimental to me, which now I don't allow it. It's been years now. I don't allow it. It's been years since I don't allow it. And it doesn't matter where I'm at. And that is, my psychological safety is number 1. So you have to prioritize your psychological safety. We're already the only. We're the underrepresented, underestimated anyway. That's heavy for us to carry on a day-to-day basis as it is. It's heavy. So you've got to make sure that you take care of not just what you produce. I had a post out here recently that excellence is not about what you're producing. It's about how you protect the person that's producing it. You've got to establish psychological safety. Those boundaries you put in place, non-negotiable. Protecting your peace. is paramount. That's how you're able to show up in your excellence. Seriously, I mean, that's how you're able to do all the other four that I listed above. It's got to be paramount. It's got to be priority number one. So look, I know, I opened this up with some stats that just like painted a picture that you're like, damn. But for me, clarity, understanding the true landscape, being real is everything. Like I said, painting a panacea or picture, making it look pretty, or some people say put lipstick on a pig. No, I mean that. No, I mean why? I mean, let's just call a thing, as I like to say. Let's just look at it for what it is. Know what it is. Recognize what it is. It's with that clarity, then you can move forward and do the things you need to do to protect your career, to protect your place in the workplace, to be able to move and ebb and flow and progress and grow the way you have the ability, the capability, the experience, the value, the knowledge, all the things to grow. I mean, for me, I can't express more than I've expressed how important this is to have this full level of awareness. The future of the workplace is no joke for Black and Brown women. It's not by anywhere near small or easy and I'm going to tell you, this is 2026. This could be in play for the next 2, 3, 5 years. Who knows? Don't have a crystal ball. I mean, I do personally think when some other things shift, in our political spectrum here and in certain parts of the US, when things shift, potentially there's an opportunity for us to start to work back to where we were before, gain all the ground we lost, and then continue to move forward. But there is no guarantee for that as well. So that's why it's most important for us to have this awareness and do the things we know we need to do to assure that our careers, which are ours, are in our hands to shape and mold and to create for what we see for ourselves. Look, if you want to have any one-on-one conversation with me, I look forward to it. I would love, put some comments in. I'll respond to them. If you're catching this live, hit me up live. I don't have the chat turned on now, and so I will end up responding to you back. But if you're catching on the replay, do the same. And you can DM me on IG. You can catch me on LinkedIn. Love to have a conversation and get your perspective. But I truly believe that if you consider the 5 that I just shared with you and really be focused, and it's not going to be easy. Absolutely, it's not going to be easy, but I can tell you this is going to be worth it, though. That I know for sure. And if you'd like to have more conversation, I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.